The machine has 144-volt voltage, which is one of the highest in its category for low-voltage machines. All access doors to the electrical components are enclosed by crankcases, which must be disassembled with appropriate tools. Even though all high-voltage components display a warning sign, the high-voltage areas of the machine need to be accessed by a care factory-trained technician. Before entering the compartments, the battery has to be disconnected. In order to ensure maximum safety, all low-voltage components, low voltage 1224 volts, are electromagnetically isolated from the battery. After removing the compartment, the technician assesses the power steering engine, which performs all the machine's tasks, namely steering and braking. This particular component has an IP protection rating very high. We used helical-toothed gear pumps, which provide a good level of comfort and excellent energy efficiency, which translates into very high performance. Some of the components are also located inside the cab, under the operator's seat. Here we find all the control units, the power supplies, the fuse panel, and the relay panel. In particular, we find all the connections to perform the diagnosis and to confirm the machine parameters with the predisposed console. To perform the diagnosis, you must first connect the power supply and switch on the panel. In this way, with the appropriate console or laptop inserted inside the master panel, we can see all the machine parameters, configure the settings, and understand if there are any error signals to be corrected. This operation does not pose any risk for the operator. There is a menu inside the console that allows you to navigate all the features of the machine, to be able to set the speed, see the consumption, change the acceleration ramps, change the gains of the feeders, and make all the changes that the operator deems appropriate to stitch up the machine according to his needs. In the compartment under the seat, we can find all the low-voltage components, 12 and 24 volts. Here we can see the power supplies, in this case 3, the control unit, and the connection points for diagnosis with the console. You can connect to all inverters inside the machine, traction, lifting, and hydro guide. In the front, we find the board with all the fuses, relays with diagnostic LEDs, and power supplies for the wipers. On the side of the machine, there is a panel which the technician must always access with the necessary precautions, because it is a point under battery voltage. Here you will find power fuses, power contactors, and those for services such as air conditioning and heating. On both sides, it is possible to access the 2 lifting controls. From this panel, always by means of the usual 3 screws to prevent the technician from accidentally accessing them, it is possible to make a quick diagnosis on the controls and eventually replace them. The control is a Curtis 1239, 144 volts, 500 amps maximum current, capable of driving a 52 kilowatt motor. There are 2 plus and minus power supplies, the 3 UVW phases, and the connection point with the can of the machine. In order to carry out diagnostics if necessary, it is also easy to access the 4 screws for maintenance and disassembly of the control. This also applies to the opposite side of the machine, because it is equipped with 2 lifting motors. From the front of the machine, after lifting the mast and securing it, you can access another internal compartment, where all the power parts are located relating to the traction and steering inverter, hydraulic parts relating to the lifting, filters, and distributors. From this compartment, it is also possible to access the ventilation of the 2 traction motors, the master control valve for the entire hydraulic part of the brakes, and the 2 distributors that control the lifting, swinging, and functions of the fork plate. It is also possible to access the encoders of the traction motors through the appropriate openings provided at the beginning of the compartment.